everyone, welcome to the Inkosi Super Cup brought to you by Nodwin Gaming. This is season 5 of the Inkosi Super Cup, and we're so excited to watch all these players in here. Joining me today on the desk is my lovely casters, Actfire and Iro. Sorry. How you guys doing?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm super excited to be here. It's going to be another interesting time to discover new teams. So I can't wait to see what we have in store today.
How you doing,
Literally,
Iro?
I'm I'm hyped. I am hyped. We were talking before this all started about the Inkosi and how intense it is, and where we get all these new teams coming in, and how chaos the Inkosi Super Cup can become. But it's season 5. We are back, and things can only get better from here on outwards. All thanks to Nordwin.
Exactly, guys. Now, the bar has been set, from season 4, we've seen what these teams can do. Some of them are repeat offenders. So, how do you feel about the teams that are coming in as well? Like, what advice would you give these new teams coming in the event that the old ones would come in and, ruffle some feathers, you know what I mean, with the experience that they have?
All right, so for me, it's like if you made it here already, you're sort of like a champion because it's really difficult to make it every single week into the country with the amount of teams that register. But so just play your game, have fun, get to discover teams. It's the first week, you still have other opportunities. Take your L's and just keep trying. But if you do manage to grab those points, then great for you. Great for you.
Definitely, definitely. Now let's have a look at some graphics over here. Let's have a look at the schedule of what's going on today. So today we have 3 maps going on. The first map is Irangel, second map is Miramar, and the third map is Sandhawk. Now, Iro, please let us know how effective do you think snipers will be on Miramar?
Miramar is definitely a long range sort of map. You have players around the mountains trying to take advantage of players rotating. So I think, scoped guns such as your snipers, etc., are going to be very crucial in terms of taking on damage and getting some elimination over there in Miramar. It's a very crucial, essential item to have over there. So yeah, strategies to lurk on the mountain, stay with your partners as close as possible. I saw last time around the splitting coming into play, but hopefully the teams stay together and rotate as one. It keeps them a unit.
Definitely. Thank you for your feedback. Now, Actfire, let's talk about the prize pool as well, because we have a big prize pool. Over 8 weeks, we will be seeing the teams compete for a total of $840, but obviously it's unlikely that they'll win the entire thing. Can you please explain the prize pool for us, Actfire?
All right, great. So throughout the entire 8 weeks, every single week, you have the opportunity to get, a total amount of what I say there, 105, I believe.
Yeah.
Sorry, is my mouth correct?
Yeah,
correct.
it's correct.
Well, that's correct. Yeah, great. So you
Yeah.
have the opportunity to get a total of 105 right there. So I mean, teams get the opportunity to get at least a little bit every week. What I've seen, especially coming in the past season, is there's sometimes when teams like Magicians, or Yonkos in the past have actually gone on every single week to perform very well. You will eventually have like those stable performance. So yeah, there's opportunities for anyone. To,
Now let's look at the points distribution as well, because that is really important for this type of competition. First place will be taking 15 points, second place will be taking 12 points, third place 10 points, fourth place will be taking 8 points, fifth place will be taking 6 points, sixth place will be taking 4 points, seventh place will be taking 2 points, 8 to 12 will be taking 1 point, and 13 to 16 will be taking absolutely nothing. Now, for each elimination, every team will be getting 1 point. How do you feel about this point system, Iro?
Honestly, if you're dying of spawn, that is a donut for you. So honestly, you have to play as passive as possible, try get into the end game, but then the likelihood of everyone actually surviving to the very end is impossible. So try get some eliminations along the way. If you're if you being a passive like this, then no, it's not the way. You got to get some eliminations too.
You definitely have to be getting some eliminations too. And I actually feel extremely sorry for anyone who dies off spawn, because we all know how that feels. You know, we've been in these BR games. They do a lot of like damage to the self-esteem as well. So, do you have any advice for regarding the skill gap, Actfire?
Definitely. In games like this, you're never really sure if you're going to make it all the way into that final circle, because taking a look at how professional PUBG players play, you may not have that opportunity to grab those placement points. So, I mean, work with what you could have, which is those elimination points. For me, just go in for those kills. If you can grab yourself like 4 early kills, that's take out 1 or 2 teams, then you've gotten maybe potentially 4 to 8 points already on that leaderboard, and that's a lot for any team. So for me, you know I would say go for those early kills where you're potentially not going to get third partied, and grab those points early on.
I hope those teams heed that advice and that they've been preparing this entire time for it, because if they don't have that sort of mindset, then they will likely not make it to the end. Regarding mindset, what kind of mindset do you think they should have for a map like Sandhawk, where people just drop and immediately people are dead in the first 5 seconds, Ira?
Honestly, you have to take into consideration that Sandhawk is a fast-paced map, and the mindset there is not to drag any time when looting. You find a gun, you find SMG, you find ammo, great, run to out of there, go somewhere else. When you're taking on a fight and it's extended for more than 5 minutes, know that there's two, three, four, five other teams who are coming in and taking in that party, and we're gonna have a rave over there, because that's what Sanok is all about. Gunfire can be heard across the map. So yeah, the mindset there is not to waste time, just get things done and dusted and move on to the next sort of situation over there.
Definitely. There's no time to dilly dally. We have to get things done. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with 0 points and 0 kills. But
Mm.
yeah, here we have the teams. We have the squads. We have Team CMP, Navy Africa, Horse Esports,
Ooh.
Team Unity, God Esports, Evolution Bad, Train to Frag Esports, and O3 Brothers. I see a familiar team over there. I see Train to Frag Esports. Now, I actually like the fact that there's familiar faces over here. Here is the next page of the teams. It's Outsiders Official, Foul Play SP, Citizens Wild Breed, sorry, Cyclone Shield Esports, The Nightmare Esports, Gold Diggers ES, Undisputed African Esports, and Tryhard Esports. Oh, I'm so happy to see some familiar faces here. So we will be going into some really interesting games, considering that Undisputed African Esports is here as well, guys. So yeah, the game is ready now. So I will leave you guys with the casters. Good luck to the players and have fun.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Finally, we are seeing it coming to action. It has been talks for some weeks on social media. We had to rally in the registrations, but it's now the time here at Fire. What are you saying?
Man, it is such an interesting time, especially looking at that team list. There are a lot of teams that I do recognize there. A lot of teams
Yes.
like Undisputed Africa, Huz Esports,
Mm-hmm.
teams like Outsiders, even Citizens Wild Breed, and Outsiders. They
Mm.
were they were in the Umzansi, they dropped off. Now they're in the Inkosi trying to get back into that spot that they were in. So it's lovely to see a lot of these teams, come back and try to gain that spot that they have lost. And yeah, I'll be curious to see how they do perform. There's also a new team, O3. I've seen them, this season. They've been performing really well in other competitions, so I'm hoping to see them come in here. They're a very new team, perform really well. There are other guys like Try Esports as well. So yeah, it's filled up. Even though these teams are new, or some people may not know them, they have been really busy and preparing for this moment. So yeah, it'll be great to see how that actually does work out for them.
Definitely, definitely. It's all about now showing and coming to the party with what you've been learning and what you've been implementing in the past couple of months, leading to this very day. And it's down to literally a match number one to see who will be getting that winner winner chicken dinner, who will be victorious with eliminations, and who is going to be falling behind on points and so forth. And I can imagine, I mean, it's day number one, match number one. We've got a lot of pressure. We've got a lot of nerves over here, especially for the new breeds, the newcomers. I mean, you look at already UAE, they've comfortable. The other guys that were contesting the POI, they've already left. Why? Because they can't handle the pressure of being contested. UAE are happy. They find they've already split this POI as well, and they're looting comfortably. It just shows the difference in level when it comes to the competing experience that one has.
Yeah, definitely, it does show a different level. And the beautiful thing about this game and a lot of the teams that I'm seeing right now, even CLS, like I didn't see them before. They're another team that has been doing quite well. They recently just formed. So coming in, especially because the Inkosi is really tough, like to make it in. It's lovely to see a lot of West African teams now coming in and trying as much as possible every single
Hmm.
week to try to battle it out, especially even the South African teams. This space is usually dominated heavily by South African teams like UAE, God, and even some East African, Kenyan, even Namibian teams. So it's great to see like West African teams who have recently just formed, come in and trying to battle their way into the Mzansi. So yeah, I would love to see how they do perform, how they do progress. Win or lose, if they will, have that confidence to continue to shine. But the boys from UAE are another squad to definitely look out for, because UAE is, traditionally known as that team that's very powerful, very strong. I mean, I'm seeing new names in the team. It's not the
Same.
same names that I saw before, but still, that name UAE definitely always brings fear to any team that they're fighting against. They have played at the highest level. You know.
They have, and they have that experience, and it may be a new names for us, but it's still the same UAE competing here today. So let's see exactly what is going to be happening over there. But outsiders right now in a position over here where they're keeping an eye out on T2F. Let's see exactly what breaks down and what happens over here. But it comes down to patience and who breaks out on that over there, because here it's just all about a waiting game and who decides to break that waiting game. And then shots can be fired, players can go down, and the blood starts spewing. But it does look like both teams have chosen to wait and be patient on the split that they've found themselves in this POI.
Yeah. So the stories about the outsiders are very, very, I don't know what to call it. It can be heartbreaking. It can be motivating. It depends on your perspective or how you look
Mm.
at it. But Outsiders used to be one of those teams that was probably like one of the best in West Africa, alongside with Slime for KT. And they were in the Mzanzi as well. They were performing at the top level, but something happened to them. They lost a couple of their players. There was this guy who was in their team. He's an excellent excellent player. He's in another clan right now that is still in the Mzanzi. I feel in Apex. His name was Andrew, and it just felt like after he left the clan, they weren't quite the same. They had a couple of players like Jesse, Jay, Justin, who were really, really excellent players. No disrespect to the guys who are here right now. They're obviously like really good as well, because I mean they're in the country. But it just felt like that shaked up their team a little bit, and that was what led to them just falling off the Zanzi, because the top players, the top guns were leaving, and it just took them a lot of time to build that synergy. But I've seen them doing that now. I've seen them sort of like fight their way. They've been very resilient. Guys like Orisha, guys like Triple R. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name,
Yeah,
but I think
yeah.
I think his name is also Rasta, I believe. So I'm not
Okay.
not really sure how to pronounce his name. But
Mm.
but I've watched him for quite a while, so I know his name used to be Rasta. Wanda Orisha, they've been through bad times. I've seen them struggle. I've seen them do well in the lobby. So yeah, they're like a T1 team that has fallen from grace, was trying to get back to that spot again. So for me,
Mm.
I really would love to see how they then start to get back that rhythm with new players like Wanda that has come in. Orisha is an old player, but he um I mean, he was not really like a starter at the time, but he sort of like has begun to play really well. So is
Mm.
Rasta. Rasta was always one of the team members. So yeah, I would love to see how they continue to fare, how this new outsiders now
Yeah.
begins to play. Yeah.
No, I love that you mentioned synergy. I mean, synergy is obviously one of the biggest factors to teamwork and team mode tournaments like we find ourselves with the Inkosi. So it comes with time and it comes with experience with the team and, VOD reviewing and having to go over the notes and just further training that is required for the team over there. I'm sure some of you guys in the chat are like, whoa, training, what's going on? But no, esports it's much more harder than a lot of people think it is. It isn't just picking up your mobile or your console and playing games. It's putting time in and actually spending a lot of it with your teammates and finding out the best loot pods, the best PRIs, the best strategies on how to rotate, the best conservatives for ammo, when to throw and how to throw your grenade and all those stuff. So I feel like outsiders they have this next few weeks is their time to shine. It's their time to bring back, like you say, that tier one experience or team that was there in the past.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. You can already begin to see shots going down between GD Freak and the boys from Next. It looks like he's already gotten that one knock. I always love it when people hold on to their snipers and are able to use it quite well. We'll see how that builds up. It doesn't look like they're making that push right now, but the two teams are pretty close to each other. I do believe they'll just be waiting for that next one knock to make that push. I already see Try Lobby, trying to make a move onto the guys. What do you think about this? You think they're going to make the move? I already see, the boys from GD getting into the vehicle and sort of like trying to get into a flank position.
Yeah, if you look over there by the opponents, it does look like two of them are knocked, if I'm not mistaken. No, just quite damaged right now and healing up. So here in these positions, no one has fallen down and got eliminated, and there is going to be shots coming in, and Alpha needs to get some cover, and he does so indeed. And ooh, that was a good flank coming out from GD over there. What amazing shots coming out from him. He just didn't get the knock on Alpha, just one or two shots, and that would have changed the things around, changed the scenario. But we are out here in cover for tryhard, and things are looking quite passive and quite calm, and people are making rotations. So there might potentially be even third parties getting involved over here. But this is a good location that Tryhard find themselves in. Yes, they are quite surrounded by almost everyone, but if they just stay put and just be patient on those rotations, they could find themselves living. But I mean, something to talk about. 16 teams still, no one has been knocked, no one has been eliminated.
Yeah, but it's definitely looking like we're going to see something going down now. I do see the boys from Uni coming into this location where Horse is at. It does look like they still have just one player who is in this region, and I do believe that is no mercy. Horse is another team that has been in the Inkosi, for quite a while. They've tried that. For me, I feel like they have just fallen off short, being unlucky at certain particular times. But maybe this time around might just be the moment for them to sort of like show what they're capable of.
Mm, mm. You see exactly what happens right now. Horse Esports up against Uni right here, and it doesn't look like there is a line of sight available. He does know there's an enemy in and ahead, but not quite sure of the exact location. And things right now, everyone's playing passive. Everyone still has their nerves to be shaken off for game number one right over here. And I mean, we can see by the number of players that are alive, couple bullets flying there and there, but nothing too serious, nothing to get excited about. And us casters, we love drama, we love action. So come on, players, let's get it on. Let's get moving.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like I love to see like the action going down, but I do understand sometimes that these teams, want to get as much points as they can. But the problem with that is, if no one's fighting,
No
then
one's earning.
then you A lobby where people aren't fighting, then there's a lot of chaos like in the final circle because now,
Yes.
there's so much third parties coming in. There's so much, getting shot from different corners, and a lot of luck now starts to play, in those final moments because you're getting shot from several different corners, and you tend to sort of like lose teams when that kind of happens. So for me, I would like to see a lot of early fights. Without
This could be easy. This could be a great shot coming out from Revolution Bad. It does get one knock. It could potentially get the other one over there. And yes, two of them knocked in. These are confirmations that are easily accessible here from one header. It's just patience and waiting it out. He doesn't want to put himself out in the open. It's 777 out there behind him. And maybe he's not aware of that. And that could potentially get him knocked in this potential trying to get this confirmation right now. One header in a tough situation, I would say, for him as well, if the rotations come through for him. But you can see the teammates coming in to clean those confirmations. That's great loot. But Kashal taking a lot of damage, and it's 777 to get the knock over there. So the line of sight is available, and a good snipe going over into 777 right now. Damage being present as it is standing. And now things are starting to unfold. Things are cooking right now.
Definitely living up to the name that the player has chosen, Waneda. Because I mean, if you guys don't know, that name actually comes from a series, called The 100. Waneda actually in that particular series means Commander of Death. So if anyone is going to be taking down teams, is definitely the Commander of Death because in that movie, Waneda is like a solo warrior, and Waneda has proven it there as he's taking down two players, and man, this team is absolutely ripping into UAE as they're taking them on from several different corners. I love the way they're positioned. They're taking on several different angles, and right now, all they got to do is push into that final guy and sort of like just see things through.
Yeah, but maybe that is the case right now. Trying to get to location, but no, it does look like just the zone rotation coming in for Revolution Bad, and things are looking good for them. And now you're starting to see players go down. Horse Tribal with confirmation in the kill feed over there. That's great to see. We are down 8 players within minutes, seconds, I would say. You blink, you miss it. So now we are happy. And this is that chaos you were talking about over here, activists, the less players fighting in the beginning means there's a lot more players for the end game. And now we are seeing an 0-3 in a tough position over here, and we have the gold diggers in this GD in this position of fighting, and 0-3 don't look too great in their position over there. Not a lot of cover for them. Couple grenades and they could easily get Fears out and dusted.
Yeah, O3 is one of those teams I was talking about, newly formed teams. They've not had quite a lot of experience within the Inkosi, but they've been practicing in a lot of other tournaments, both local West African tournaments and, African scrims. So it'd be curious to see how they do manage this situation that they're in. Being able to battle it out from tough situations like this might prove to be, a learning experience for them. So yeah, let's see how it goes. You can already see Jin taking a look at Fierce. Fierce is in a very difficult circumstance. He does obviously need his teammates to come in. He needs to smoke out of that region. His vehicle is not within his reach right now, and his teammate Schnitz has actually from a third party got him taken down. So yeah, it's a very tough situation for them, but let's see if they can even salvage anything out of this game.
Yeah, but GD also need to be careful of their positioning because behind them is Horse Esports in that position over there. So staying too long over here and creating a lot of commotion means attraction, and attraction is bad in this arena that we have set up for ourselves right now. A line of scope on the players, and there goes the shots from behind, and I called it. It is Horse Esports. Klaus coming in with the action, and the positioning is not great for this team right now, and they are pinched and in an uncomfortable position. Let's see exactly what Klaus and Horse can do. Can they get any of these confirmations of the knocks available right now? It's only GD Freak down, and they are probably aware of the situation that is in and around them. It's not only Horse that can put on the pressure. Citizen is around as well. They're also giving the pressure to Horse Esports. So those confirmations are a no-go. But, nice knock from Mercy.
Man, Citizen Esports, one of those teams that, came down from the Umzansi into the Inkosi right here, trying to battle their way back up, coming up against Hawes, another team that has a lot to prove. They have been really close towards getting into, qualifying, and these two
Mm,
teams have a lot to lose. They've got a lot of pressure on their backs, to prove that they have, a lot to offer this competition, and they'll be looking to grab those points. They'll be looking to show, their fans that they're back in the game, and all that stuff. So I'm curious to see how it's going to go down. For now, these boys from Citizens have lost one player. They've lost 11. I did see him go down to the zone on the kill feed right there. So yeah, let's see how it's going to go. The boys from CLS as well, another team that was newly formed. With Isaac, Danny Brown. I've seen them a
ooh,
lot in other regional competitions, coming in right now, taking on the boys from GD. And this is what we talked about, getting into that final circle. You understand? Like there's going to
mm,
now be a lot of fight. There's going to be a lot of chaos, and
mm.
yeah, you can see that exactly. Fear's coming into the mix right there as he does take out one of the players from CLS. I'm sure. Remember, this was the spot where the GD players were at. So
Mm.
CLS was not aware, of Fear's position, and he capitalized on that.
Exactly, capitalize on that. But my question is, how does CLS even get into that position when GD is present over there? I mean, is GD even awake at this position? I mean, we have to find out how they managed to make that rotation further inwards to the bridge. But Fia's been very separated from Nexus. He has to be the rat of the team. Try get some points. Try get some placement points over there. It's not going to be the easiest of tasks, but it's only game number one. There is still room for mistakes, and that is of going into Miramar and Sandhawk where they can implement some changes over there. But it's chaos right now. It's a bloodbath and a rave happening at this position, and everyone is just taking on damage. Players going down. Road getting a knock in the kill feed over there. That is great, but he just needs to be careful of TN. TN as well, quite in a weird position they find themselves in. He wants to get some shots over here, Dolo, but right now not really connecting any of them at this moment. Scoping in, trying to find the opposition, but they're there.
Man, just look at the amount of teams that are outside right there. You do see the guys on Play. I love that name, like the clans Play, and there's a player called Station, so it ends up being PlayStation. Really interesting name, right? Really interesting name right there. But anyways,
Yeah.
you got a couple of guys outside that zone. You got the boys from O3, you got Play, you got Try, and all of them are sandwiched there. And this is what we talk about. Like, no matter how great you are as a team,
Mm.
you got to take on those fights early. But look at it, and taking on shots right there onto Madden and knocking him down. Obviously, going to the first thing in right there. You can already see the boys from PlayStation Rumsey pulling in right there, and the nightmare boys keep on storming the lobby as they are just farming, several kills from different positions. Obviously, they're going to be prioritizing getting into that zone as much as possible. They're making the right moves, but man, it's just party after party at several different corners, and it is going to only get worse for these teams as they continue to now move into an even tighter spots, because you can see a lot of this map is within the water, so chaos is about to start.
Yeah, no land for them, no place to hide. So the teams that have already established a great location on available land is going to be taking full advantage of those rotating in the open, those who are stranded with no place to hide. Let's see exactly what will be happening. But GD Jin in a good position right here, just under Horse Esports right over there. And we're down to 12 teams, 33 players remaining. The zone very tiny and shrinking anytime soon. And that would mean all the players on the outskirts now need to start making their way in. Citizens on to play potato, and things are not looking good there for players. Already have seen a lot of pressure coming in from the side. Just look at CLS over here running in the open, and oh, he turns, he gets the knock. But is it him? It is Isaac who does get that over there. Amazing aim coming out from him. What a successful clutch from him, but I don't know if he will be able to stay alive with so much around him. He is rotating, he's still alive right there, but can they get the revive? Can they get the eliminations of them?
Man, look at the boys from Horse getting kill after kill, putting in a strong performance. Get right now, as the last I checked, they had about 7 kills to the name. They're just sitting in that building, sitting in a comfortable position, and just farming out different kills from different positions. But the boys from Outsiders are still holding their own. Citizens have lost a couple of players to Horse, who has a lot to fight for in this particular game. You can see the boys from Outsiders trying to hold their building. They're coming up against a team Navi, and that's another team that we haven't spoken about. There's a Navi African team. I mean, if you do watch, the African esport, I'm not sure if they're affiliated, but this is supposed to be like the top dogs, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna obviously be signing a really strong team to represent them in Africa. But yeah, I've seen them in other competitions too as well. They're a really strong, good team. They've got about 6 kills to the name so far. They're dealing some damage onto the boys from Outsiders. So yeah, let's see how it continues to play with them. You can see the bot. All he has to do is send in a couple of links to this position where Outsiders is at, and that is some really good amount of kills.
Yeah, literally, if the one stack of grenades will be able to get all three because they are in such a tiny room as it stands right now. And let's see Navi here just throwing down smoke grenades, if I'm not mistaken, in this position to get a clear rotation path for them, and it does look successful. Outsiders still alive. There's all three of them in this position, quite happy and comfortable. Couple shots coming in onto Wonder. He's down to quite a little bit of HP. He needs to use some of his consumables in order to heal up, and as well as star. So right there in a good position as well. HP back and happy. But now look at that circle. Very, very little teams in that position, and they all have found an establishment. They have found a house that they can find in and just sort of cover over there. So it's really going to come down to the wire over here, I do see.
Man, it has been party after party. I see a lot of people, right there on the stream. I see Lala being like, Niger up. Yes, 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 Niger up. We obviously supporting, Niger teams. How I want to see other countries coming with the support, talk about their teams, just rep your country, man. Go out right there. Like, I want to see South Africa, I want to see Kenya, I want to see Zambia, I want to see all the people just be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Put in your flag. Let's see. Put in some support. I see man like me saying Blood Rainer greater than Waneda. Yes, obviously. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. The boys from God are getting pushed by the boys from Navi. Are we going to see a third party coming in from the boys from Outsiders? As you can see them taking a look, but they're also getting dealt some damage on their down to just 2 players right there. You can see a player from God Esports is outside right there, throwing in a nade onto that position. Is it going to do in some damage? Is it going to get a knock right there? Doesn't look like they did. You can see Navi Esports throwing in another nade right there. The nade taking down Wanda Orisha at the same time. So we got 2 players right there, and you can see Navi just dealing damage upon damage. We've spoken about Navi currently on this lobby. They have about 10 kills to the names. God Esports only has 1. They're having a tough time. We're down to 17, so at least that's a different point for them. And you can see them just taking some shots, but Navi the bot again comes strikes as he does take down another player, and they are just currently farming at this particular point there. What do you have to say about that, Hero?
I have to say, greed, and that is what happens over there. You see God Esports trying to get that confirmation, and now they get the player knocked, and that means pressure on the team. Be patient, take your time out to hand your rotation to get the confirmation. Don't just go out there with the intention to kill, because you will get eliminated. You will get some pressure onto you over there. So Navi in a good position right now, trying to just gather in, has smoke, has a lot of cover as they can possibly. And I like the position managed to, their formation they've managed to put themselves in over here. Everyone is now just waiting for this rotation to come into play so that things can go sideways, literally sideways. We got so much players alive in such a tiny area of playing field that isn't required for 15. I mean, 15 is way too much players for this small zone.
All right, all right. As you can see, the boys from Navi putting in some damage on their own side as well as Horse Esports. And it has
Mm.
just been a great day on both teams. You can see Horse has 14 kills to their name. So I want to see a fight coming down between the two guys because I don't even know right now who is going to take charge of this particular game. But I know that Navi has actually. It looks like they have a player who is down, so it looks like Ozzy Sport is in a better position. But now, Ozzy Sport all of a sudden has lost a couple of players. They're down to just Klaus. And this is looking really deadly. And oh my goodness, they get taken out by God. Whoa.
They
Whoa,
do
hero.
get bit over there, trying to go all out, and unfortunately, Itachi was in a smoke and he was covered in that, and he had the upper advantage to Klaus over there. So very unfortunate, but now down to two teams, and it does look like it's going to be a 2v2. It's TN first guard, and let's see exactly what plays out over here. We have Kickoff who needs to just heal up a little bit over there in that position, and as well as God who have the lower field of the so lower, I'll say lower ground in this position. Itachi's trying to throw in a grenade, but he's over peeking over here. A couple shots onto him, and the grenade does not connect. He does need to use some consumables to heal up at this point because he is down about 40, and you can see the left and right maybe formation coming out from God over there. But I would say the upper hand is coming in for T, and they have to have windows. There's no ways that they can't because they have that position at play over here.
Yeah, the boys from Nightmare have actually been, active throughout this particular game as well. They got themselves 7 kills. The God has somehow just managed to get themselves into that final circle and just be active. I think they're currently on 3 kills. So I mean, the teams that were fragging it out, Hawes and the boys from Navi got taken out. I think third and fourth respectively. So I'm not really sure. I think they're probably going to be on top of the leaderboard first and second at the end of the game. But I mean, my math may be off right there. But it'll be curious to see how it all plays out going into this final moments in this first game between TN and God Esports and what that means for them on the leaderboard. So is it placement points that's going to count, or is it the team that was fragging out? We'll find out at the end of the game when we get to see the leaderboard. But right now, taking a look at things right now, you can see God trying as much as possible to take two angles. The boys from TN a little bit closer to each other, Itachi and Takeoff. Um, for me, I don't know. I don't know.
Mm,
God Esports seems to be a bit, I mean, or both of them seem to, be wondering what move to make, and it's all
mm.
down to who makes that first mistake, who's able to react quickly, and I don't know, Arrow. I don't know. I can't really call it yet, Arrow.
Honestly, God Sports under the bridge over here just might be the thing coming out from Sticks, as he is in a little bit of a peak advantage compared to the TN over there. And, they may not know of his location when they decide to make that push. Zeus, on the other hand, he's just chilling in a room comfortably and happily over there. So it really comes down to the number, and you can see that location, the peak advantage coming into play. He does have it as a 2v1, and Zeus has nothing to do with the winner chicken dinner. It's all thanks to Sticks. Well done to God who win the winner chicken dinner in this position. Amazing second position coming out from the nightmare over there. So that's great. Third place in horse as well. Second place coming in the nightmare over there. And then the winner win the chicken dinner just from God. I mean, what a way. I knew that Sticks had that peak advantage in that fight over there. It was really, really great from him. He just had to wait for the time coming out from TN, which was the mistake. Not even mistake, that was their decision. And sometimes decisions can be wrong here, Fire.
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought that I was going to get a proper response coming in from Itachi because it looked like his reflexes were really good, but at the end of the day, the boys from God really were patient enough to just seal that game through and win it. So you never know how these things are going to play. All these players have like really great gun skills, and the boys from God prioritize getting those placement points, and yeah, it worked for them.
Definitely, guys. A big congratulations to God. I would just like to talk about how they surprisingly took out Horse Esports. Horse Esports was so consistent, guys. What do you think was the mistake that Horse Esports made that cost them the game, Akfire?
I wouldn't really say it was a mistake because they were getting a lot of kills. It was just rather unfortunate for them that Itachi was in that position where he was because they were just taking on team on team on team, and for me
Definitely.
I feel like they were playing it right, but. What happened was going into that final circle, it was really difficult for them to scout around because there were so many different teams that they were fighting, and that is just down to the lobby that they're in right now because a lot of teams were trying to prioritize getting those placement points. So for me, they did the right thing. They got a lot of kills. They still got some placement points. They might even be, first or second by the time you see that leaderboard. So for me, they may not have won, but they sort of won, getting those amount of kills.
Yeah. They definitely did. And with regards to Navi Esports, Iro, I would like to talk about how do you feel about their were they the most consistent team, or do you think that Horse Esports, may have one up them?
In terms of kills already, Horse Esports had more eliminations. So, yeah, definitely, I would say Horse Esports one up them in that position over there. But the way Navi played it out felt like it was more strategic. Whereas Horse Esports, on the other hand, they were just risking it for the biscuit. And in the end, the mother caught them with the hand in the cookie jar and they got caught for it, So they didn't get the biscuit in the end and they got eliminated due to that aggressive gameplay.
So you do you feel like they're not letting people breathe and sort of just like, I'm gonna kill you now and I'm gonna, get the finishes off and everything. Do you think that actually like played against them?
I would say it's more of an overconfidence coming out from Hose right now in this position. I mean, they have been in the Inkosi, they have had their previous experience in the seasons, etc. So I feel like that overconfidence right now, they know what they're doing, they handle the pressure quite well. But sometimes that level of confidence can really be the death of you. So I think right here they need to just sit back a little bit and control their gameplay. Right now, there's no leashes on any of them. They're just going guns blazing, and I think that's really what the issue is with the team, But Ole starting with a bang is going to give more confidence to them. So it's this bit of a pickle. They can either stay on this level and continue pushing it out consistently week in and week out, or they will get a burnout from the overconfidence. And really, the strategy is for them is to go all out. But at what point do the other teams catch up to what they're doing? So that's what I feel right now. I mean, it's only week one, it's only day one,
Yeah.
it's game one as well. So yeah, let's see what happens going into the future. For now, definitely an overconfidence coming out from Horse Esports.
Yeah, definitely an overconfidence from them. I did think that God Esports were the underdogs, but I like how they came out on top. Akbaya, do you think that their patience paid off, or was it like a lucky round for them?
I do definitely think it was a lot of luck had to play in that because the way Navi was pushing, the way there were so many different teams, they just found themselves like a very good spot to just hide in. Someone could have thrown in a nade into that shack and they would have just died. They could have gotten shot by a third party. So for me, a lot of luck for them. They managed to stay in just yeah, they still had to fight, they still had to get some kills, but for me, they sort of like prioritize getting placement points over getting kills, and sometimes you're forced into those situations because there's so many aggressive teams around you, right? Outsiders were there, citizens were there, Navi was there. Sometimes you're just like, you know what, I'm just gonna respect myself and I'm just gonna chill here for now. And that's what it did, and it worked out for them in the end.
It did work out for them. Now, I want to see the MVP, guys. I want to see who is the MVP of the match because honestly, it could really go anywhere. Oh, Navi the bot. Wow. Congrats on MVP. This is actually really good to see. He did so much damage. He did 1,007 damage, 6 eliminations, survived for 25 minutes. How do you guys feel about this one?
Yeah, definitely well deserved over there. We saw, like I mentioned, Navi were more strategic in their approach. The way they played it, it had calculations to it. They were not too aggressive, and I feel like they will be consistent when it comes to MVP throughout the entire season. One of their players over there will get it to numerous amount of times. So I don't think this is a first and last for Navi. I feel like we're going to be seeing them quite a lot going into the rest of the weeks of the year.
Definitely. Now, with the eliminations, they didn't get as many eliminations as Horse Esports. But I wanted to ask you guys, as someone who doesn't, play PUBG, in my free time, I wanted to know, what do you think is more crucial to a player, an individual in PUBG? Do you think it's mechanics or do you think it's strategy?
I'll let Act take this one.
Yeah, I think it's I mean, hmm. So yeah, okay, I'll put it like this: the mechanics, the game sense, not understanding your guns and all of that stuff, your skill is the basics, right? Coming into being a professional player, like that's extremely important. Um, so it's like the prerequisite to even join the team in the first place. There's a certain level of gameplay you need to have. Now moving on to playing at this particular level, trying to be one of the best teams in Africa. Um, you then need to have a certain level of strategy, how you play, how you rotate, whether you're going to edge it, whether you're going into the center in the middle in when the game's just starting and trying to take on a lot of fights. So yeah, it's a mix of both.
Now, let's see where the match ranking stands. Let's see how everybody has done. Now, Horse Esports takes first place with 10 place points, 18 eliminations, and total points of 28. God Esports is second place, Navi at third, The Nightmare Esport at fourth, Train to Frag Esports at fifth, Outsiders Official at sixth, seventh is Revolution Bad, and eighth is Citizens Wildbred. Now, on to the next page of it for the rest of the teams. Number 9 is O3 Brothers. Number 10 is Cyclone Shield Esports. Gold Diggers ES is number 11. 12th place will be Foul Play SP. 13th will be Tryhard Esports. 14th will be Team CMP. And 15th will be Team Unity. And 16th will be Undisputed African Esports. Now, guys, honestly, this is very unexpected considering Undisputed African Esports has been here before. They've played in season 4. They've showed us what they can do. How do you guys feel about Undisputed African Esports' ranking this time around, Iro?
I mean, we spoke about it. It's a lot of new names in the team as well as just maybe an unpredicted move coming out from them. There's so many factors that go to getting eliminated among the first teams over there, and I feel like it was just a decision making among the team that just didn't go according to action. So honestly, I still give these guys the undisputed, and we'll be seeing them going into Miramar as well as Sandhawk, and maybe a redemption over there. Like I said, there's still room for improvement. Maybe not too much room as the weeks go by. We'll be sort of siphoning down on the teams over here, but really, I feel like Undisputed Africa Esports still have a lot to live up to. So I'm not gonna be too hard on them today. I'll give if this is still happening 2-3 weeks down the line, then we need to talk, guys.
Honestly, we do need to talk. We do need to talk about it. But like with the overall leaderboard, I would like to understand how everything's going right now. But with regards to positioning, you mentioned Miramar, and it has me thinking. How do you think they should position themselves from Miramar?
All right.
Have,
So for me,
no,
all right. So for me, the way I look at it is, Miramar is a map where you need to be in the zone early on, although you can't predict that, but you actually do get a lot of time to start to make those rotations early, because it would sort of like switch early on. So wherever this the map's going to, you need to get yourself like into that center, because if you're that team trying to rotate in late or trying to edge it, and there are other teams on top of the mountain shooting at you, you're at a very, very, very serious disadvantage. So yeah, you need to get high ground really early within a good spot within that zone. Yeah.
And about the synergy of the teams, I noticed that when you said that about the synergy of the teams, who do you think is the most synchronized team that they're working together? It doesn't seem too distorted and there's too much chaos going on. Who do you think is the most synchronized team, Ira?
It's hard to say right now. I mean, we here in game one, and from what I've seen, like what I like about Navi is that it looked strategic. It looked like they knew what they were doing. The comms were clear. Hide in this room, hide in that room, be in this position, get that elimination, wait for my call. And at some point, it failed for them. But I feel for now, according to game number one, they've seemed to be the most synchronized team. On the other side, like Horse Esports, they pulled in the most eliminations over there, but they did it messy. And like one moment, even Ackfire was like, "Whoa, where are they? They all just died." Like 1 second, we think Horse is about to get the entire eliminations everywhere, and the next second, it's like dead. And so I think, yeah, so the communication there was just like, go kill, go have fun, guys. So yeah, I feel like right now for game number one, Navi Esports, if they can keep the consistency and not make me look like a bad caster analyst, then that would be great.
No, Iro, you'll be a good caster regardless of the outcome, and come on now. But honestly, with the way that Horsey Sports were playing, it kind of paid off. They did end up at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So do you think they should go in with that same thing? Like, do you think it'll pay off for every map? Because I don't think you can be that aggressive on every map. Like, I'm not a PUBG expert, Actifier, so help me out here. How do you think that they should approach the rest of the
Uh,
maps as an aggressive team?
I mean, I actually think that they should go on being aggressive. I think, in my experience, like I've seen teams win competitions without getting chicken dinners. Like they will
Mm.
come second, third a lot of times, but they get a lot of kills. They get 10 kills, they get 15 kills, and they'll just keep racking those points, on and on and on and on and on. So for me, if that's your game style, if your game style is just going in and eliminating teams, then Mirama is really great for you, because they can actually, circle round right now, take on team after team after team without actually, getting third party quite early. So for me, yeah, they should just keep it going, because that confidence really does pay off. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, their confidence really did a lot. Their confidence really showed the other teams that they're one to fear, considering how aggressive they are. And do you think that? I actually think that they're gonna change, but I'm cheering for the underdog. And even though they won, like they're still kind of the underdog because God Esports still got less kills than everybody else.
That's the thing, though. And I like what Ackfire mentioned over there. We've seen teams to get winner chicken dinner, but at the end of the day, they don't show up to the party. And that's the thing. In the past, we've seen teams with two winner chicken dinners, three winner chicken dinners, and they still get relegated. They still here fighting for the Inkosi. Why? Because they get one elimination, two eliminations when you win. When you get the winner chicken dinner, it has to be worth it. You need to get it with 10 plus kills, 5 plus kills, 8 plus kills. That way, when you do get the winner chicken dinner, you're not second place on the overall leaderboard for the day. You are number one by 20 points. No one can catch you for that day. You're happily earning that $45, and that's just what's gonna make a difference between you and the other teams. But when you're getting one kill, winner chicken dinner, it's not worth it. That's a message to the teams, the underdogs now. Step up, but not be Horse Esports. Just a little bit more extra.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, Ackfire, do you have a team that you're currently rooting for? Are you going to invoke the caster's curse on anyone today?
hmm. Who am I rooting for? Okay, so the team I want to see perform is actually Citizens. Well, actually, two teams: Citizens and Outsiders. Um, because does I mean these guys. like there's a story behind them. They're a known team. They
Mm.
have a huge following. They have a lot of fans who are wishing to to see them perform. I'm a fan of both of the teams as well. I know the story quite well because they've been in the Umzansi. They've performed against the likes of the 4KTs and the BGEs and the G3s and all that. So for me, I'm rooting for them to come back. So I want to see them perform. I saw them struggle in this last game. So hopefully now it's a bigger map. Maybe we might see a better gameplay from them.
Hopefully it doesn't, hopefully the Costas curse doesn't, activate this time around because you literally just jinxed your team. Literally, just right in front of everybody, and I can't wait to see what happens. Now, Iro, how about you? Who are you rooting for today?
I'm not shocked. I'm not saying
Yeah.
anything.
Oh, come on. No, just
Not
a little bit of a hint, nothing, anything, nothing.
nothing. I've had my fair share of Costa Curse, and everyone knows it. So I'm keeping quiet. I will watch and I will analyst after each time. But nope, no comment, no comment. Yeah.
I don't feel bad at all about involving my host curse. I'm no Costa, I'm a host, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel bad about it at all. I don't have a problem doing it because I feel like I bring good luck. I'm generally a lucky person. So I'm
Okay.
gonna, even though they won, I still see them as the underdogs. So I'm gonna root for God Esports. Now, here's the schedule one more time, guys. Miramar is up next. I'm excited for this one. It's gonna be, honestly, I think this one's gonna be a bloodbath, even though it's a long range map. How do you guys feel? Are you excited for this one?
Miramar is gonna be dramatic. It is gonna be fun. The long or the end game is very long. I feel like it's a long. It's the same time, but it feels like a long game because nobody's really fighting. Everyone's has their distance, and it's always long range fighting. No close combat, so it's like yeah. For the cost, it feels like it's dragged on. But I can only imagine from a gamer's perspective, it's intense. So looking forward to it.
How about you? How are you feeling about this next map, Akfire?
Yeah, it has the potential to drag on, for a long time, like Era said. We may be lucky and see one or two early fights, but it's usually sometimes a caster's nightmare because if you think like Erangel is long, like Mirama can go on and on, but the upside to it all is that the final fights are always very intense in Mirama. Like when they start blowing up vehicles and getting snipes and making those push, it's yeah it ends up being worth the wait. So let's see how it goes.
All right, guys. Now, I don't know, man. I think we should take a break, man. I'm not sure. But actually, before we take a break, I want you guys to give me your own personal, experiences with PUBG. If you were in their positions, how would you do it?
I mean, yeah. If I've been in situations, way back when I played myself, and I can tell you, like, it's way more intense than we actually do see. But one thing I do know that helps is an IGL that does his research on teams. Gets to understand how those teams play, how they rotate, watches them in other competitions, and is sort of like prepared for how the lobby is going to be. That may not work like on the first day, but as you begin to progress through the season, an IGL that does his research a lot, really goes on to help the team.
Okay, well, I think the game is beginning now, so I will leave you guys with the casters again, once again. Thanks, guys, and I hope the teams perform better this time. So good luck and have fun, guys.
Already here and in action for game number 2. Players down into the maps. Already got 57 players remaining, baby. Some of these guys already in the POIs being contested. You already see at boot camp. Obviously, there will be some fights happening there. That location, it is one of the major let's see exactly what happens over there.
All right, all right, all right. We're already seeing a fight going down um between the guys from Citizens and Horse, and it does look like a couple of players from Citizens have been taken out. I actually did think that it was going to be a Miramar map, but it actually seems like we've gotten a Sandhawk one, which is super interesting because Sandhawk is usually that map that is extremely crazy, and it's a really tough battle as we see on that kill feed. Okay, it's extremely crazy because we're seeing a fight going down between Citizens and Horse, and it looks like it's a tough battle as they're just taking on each other. We're curious to see how that fight actually does go down. But Sandhawk is one of those very fast, crazy maps, a lot of early fights to work with, and yeah, we're curious to see how these teams do fare in this particular game era. But just seeing how things are right now. How do you think the teams are going to progress? Taking a look at the map and everything.
I like the distribution of players across over here. We had, a couple of players rotating into the same POI. But other than that, you still have a fair distribution of players across the field. So I feel, yeah, it's a great combination. You want to have players across, not too contested. So it's good to see that some of these guys know their POIs and maybe know of one another's POIs and they decide not to contest over there. But I really feel like it's Sandhawk either way, and no matter what happens, you're still gonna get a lot of fighting happening.
Man, definitely yes. All right, so these are two teams that we actually did see, in the last game. You got GD Freak right here, and I do believe that they are next to the boys from Nightmares. And yeah,
Yeah.
that definitely is it. Those two teams, really did show us, some lovely action. You can already see Jidin, trying to get that flank position and just trying to hide to see if he can, surprise takeoff. So for me, if takeoff comes down from this
Mm.
step and tries to attack, either Freak or MG, he's gonna get a surprise coming in from, that right corner. And that's exactly what the boys from GD want. So obviously, you can already begin to see some smart gameplay coming from them. They're trying to trap these guys, get them to take or make one bad decision, and then they can capitalize on it. They've already taken out one of the players, Dolo, so it's just left with three players. So I'm curious to see how this one does unfold. So if I mean, as a team, if you're coming to Paradise, you want to fight, you want to get the kills, and you can already see right there Dean gets in that kill. Just like I did say, he was waiting for that opportunity. And he gets two. Right now, they're about to eliminate the team. And it's just left with one player left. It's just Sanchez. And you can already see MG making that chase right there, looking for Sanchez. And right now, they're going in for that hunt. Sanchez is hiding right there. He gets one knock, but it was not enough to save his team. And GG's to the boys from Gold Diggers.
They had that one in the bag. The strategy was there. The communication was clear. The flanking worked out, and you called it. They were going to get that pinch from the right corner, and they did. And that's what really changed the tables over there. Because once formation is broken, it is easy then to get the rest of the eliminations played out there. Because I mean, if you looked at it, they had a fair distribution of a formation, but once one breaks, the rest crumbles.
Definitely, just like you said, I mean, the good thing about watching a lot of these competitions and watching how smart like African teams are becoming is that you then tend to be able to predict these moments. You then tend to be able to see what the plans are, and that doesn't happen without a proper IGL. All right, so just looking at it right now, I really love that gameplay coming in from Gold Diggers. I would love to know, who made that call. Sometimes I wish, I mean, I know it disturbed the broadcast, but sometimes I wish like I could actually see more stories about these teams and who their IGLs are and all that stuff to be able to just understand their thought process in fights like that. But taking a look at CSLS right now, you can already see the boys Manny and Isaac trying to make those rotations into that particular into the zone. There's a fight going down between Hawes and Navi, and that's a really interesting one because those are two teams that were absolutely storming the lobby in the last one. I wanted to see them fight, but they couldn't get to fight. So it'd be curious to see who actually does bully one another in this particular map. But in the meantime, the boys from CLS, who are a team, Cyclone Shields, that have just recently been formed, trying to rotate into that zone. They have players who have a lot of experience within the West African region. Like Roach, like Manny, Danny Brown, Isaac. You know, these are guys who these are guys, Arrow, who have played a lot of competitions within the West
Mm.
African region. Manny used to be in a clan called Purge. I really thought that Purge was gonna go really far. I thought that they were gonna be one of those clans who would go on into the Umzansi. Because of the
Mm.
way they were playing at the time, they were a very aggressive team. So it's great to see Manny coming in, now and trying to, I mean, even if he didn't, succeed at that with his former team Podge, he may be able to do that right now with CLS. So I'm curious to
Yeah.
see how it does pay off for him.
Am I
Going
correct to say Manny played with who's this in season 3, if I'm not mistaken, or was it also season 4?
I'm not really sure. I know he's had a lot of experience. You
Yeah,
know,
no, I've seen that
yeah.
Manny, and when I saw him in match number 1, I wanted to comment on it, but I decided to leave it because I thought maybe it's not the same Manny. But now that you're mentioning this, the Manny has had, yes, some showing in the Inkosi, and yeah, some.
Yeah.
I think maybe now, maybe hopefully with the CLS, maybe things work out for the team over there. It's all about the synergy, teamwork, and so forth going into the games over there. But let's see what happens with Manny.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. The boys from Navi not having things quite as easy as they did in the first game. They lost one player on to the boys from Horse. It did look like, they had a scout, that just got caught off in a wrong angle and he was taken out by the boys from Horse. Horse continuing that aggressive gameplay as they landed, within that center, took out the boys from Citizens, took out one player from Navi. So they continued, to play like that. Right now, you do have the boys from Navi, getting chased by a
Mm.
team. And as you can already see, Africa was trying as much as possible to retreat on, but now he has got himself, you know, he has got himself back on the front foot as he does knock down one player. But there's a flank player, so he does need to be careful around him. He probably needs the support of his entire team. And what do you think is going to be the outcome of this, Eric?
Honestly, right now, right here, Timo not really thinking straight. He had the knock. That was the perfect time to get the disengagement, get the separation from him and the other team over there. But instead, he pushed further up. And it's a 1v4 over here. He needs to know his boundaries in this position and disengage over there. That knock was the perfect time to get a good distance between him and the opposing teams. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I think he needed that, because the momentum they were coming at him at that particular point in time was to just take him
Mm.
down, was to push him. Bot is not close to them. G Don is far away from him in those buildings, so they might not be able to offer him the support that he actually does need. So Timo needs to somehow find a way to escape from this region without getting knocked, and just regroup with his entire team. But you can see right there, he's already gotten taken down, and that's exactly what I was saying that he's got to avoid. Nafi not having such a great time right here. They're in Hating, but the bot is far away from G Don. And right now, if they're going to battle their way out of this, they are in a 4v2 situation. So yeah, for me, they just got to get away. They just got to find a way to just take their L's. Timo's already down. Just get away and try to get themselves some placement points.
Yeah, no, Timo. I don't think he played that well, that one out too well. I feel like he would have been far much better if he had gone and run back to G Don over there, but he decided to push upwards when he had that window during that knock to just separate from that position. But some of these things happens over here, and you make these mistakes right now. But it is what it is. And T2F Train to Frag has that elimination, has that kill confirmation going in for them, which is great.
What I'm actually seeing right now, or hoping to see, is a lot of teams that didn't do well in that first game
Mm,
coming into the
mm,
second one and trying as much as possible to battle things out. You can already see trying to frag, taking on shots onto Cyclone Shields as they're making those rotations. But both teams will obviously be prioritizing, just getting themselves into like a really, really, really good spot. And it looks like the boys from T2 are trying to get that chase onto Navi to sort of like finish them. They're looking for them. They're checking the waters to see if, maybe they've run away, maybe they've tried to swim across. They're trying to look for their position to take out the last two guys, but they may not be aware or may not be it may not be their thought
Mm.
that Navi and Gdon are sitting down on that roof, and that may actually be the thing that actually now turns things around for these teams, because they can take down Speed and Nova while they're unaware. And as you can see, CLS has now taken down some of their boys. Some of their boys, so now they're down to a three-man squad. If Gdon takes down one player right here, now things have changed. Now it's opened up.
And that there is the mistake coming out from Train to Frag, because they are not scouting properly and they are just putting themselves into a location wide open over here with Navi with the opportunity of getting some eliminations onto them over there. But let's see exactly what will transpire of this.
I'm not sure what the bot is doing, but it does look like he's sort of like AFK within that building, so they're not making that move, and that may buy T2 some time to get that revive, which they have done, but they're still in a very difficult situation where they sort of like now are reduced to a three-man squad. I'm not sure why they had to make those long rotations, but definitely, I mean, hey, it is what it is. Now turning our sights onto the boys from O3. This is another team within the West African region that has been, practicing a lot. They're coming up against, the boys from CMP, and I want someone in the, right there on the chart to tell me more about CMP, because I want to know more about them. I want you guys to tell me. I want the fans to tell me that who they are, country they're from, and a little bit about their story. But for now, we do see the O3 brothers, making that flank. You can see True making that flank towards that position where Hope is at. It was not easy to get a knock right there, but it does look like he can now, as he does take down Hope. And now we're beginning to see them get into their rhythm. And oof, what do you think about this era?
Yeah, this is a really good location over here. They've already gotten some of their confirmations. True just needs to be a bit passive on those confirmation. We did see with God Esports when they wanted to get their confirmation that greed can be a bit risky over there. So when they do get these knocks and so forth, they need to be a bit passive on them, because it could be quite dangerous. But 4 eliminations, great successful run from them in this position, and then that will be really good for the team going forward. There's still a lot of opportunity and a lot of things to happen for us here in Sandhawk, and that's what I love about it, is that we've already seen action from the get-go, but that's just a taste of what Sandhawk has to offer, and things are starting to boil up slowly like a kettle, when you make your tea. Now we're going to drink the tea soon, Actfire. Very soon we're going to be drinking the tea.
Yeah, definitely very soon. I'm loving what I'm seeing from the boys from O3. They're one of those teams that I'm rooting for. Nexus is one of those players that he has been in the game for quite a while. He does have that potential to be like a T1 player, and hopefully now is when he begins to gain that confidence, because I feel like he's just suffering through a confidence issue, but he's been one of those players. You know how you have those players who start off like struggling in their career. Maybe they don't have like a good phone or a good team or players to work with, and then probably they upgrade their devices, and now they can perform a lot better. He's one of those. He's one of those players that grinded his way, trained his way into becoming a top player, and it'd be curious to see how now that he's coming into the Inkosi, it'd be curious to see how he does perform. I do feel like it's an underdog story that when they begin to tell it, will be really interesting for a lot of people to watch.
Mm.
Um, so yeah. For me, there are just a lot of teams with such rich backgrounds, rich stories. I want to hear more. I want to get to know them. I want to know about Revolution Bad. I'm
Mm.
gonna do more of my research, because before the Inconsi starts, there's so many teams, 200 teams, right? You can't know everybody. right? But now that I'm seeing the teams that get into the lobby, like I want to begin to know the stories, man. I want to follow them on social media because that's what I sort of try to do a lot of times. Like I try to follow teams. I try to see their stories because they're more than just people shooting themselves, right? There is a story behind Odin. There's a story behind Zeus. There's a story behind Kratos, and what their struggles and their battles are to get to this point where they actually qualify.
Definitely. And that's what I admire about Ackfire, ladies and gentlemen, is that he actually gets involved and gets in with the community. So always shoots out the message to Ack guys and get him to know who you are, because it just also benefits you in the long run over there. So it's all about building the community, and that is what Northern Gaming does, brings us together over here. UAE has a perfect sight on guard right now, and the bullets don't connect too well coming out from 6 to 9. And he had a good line of sight over there onto the entire squad, and he couldn't get an elimination whatsoever in this position. Let's see exactly what happens. 6 to 9 going down. God Esports going up with a lot of aggression over here, and UAE just doesn't look like they're coming to the party just yet. Stykes just might put himself in a bit of a sticky situation, having the low ground over here. It's a 3v1, never mind 4v1 in this position right here. God needs to go up, and it's RB from behind that are also getting involved. Stykes does get knocked over there, gets confirmed. That is the aggression play that will get you in a sticky situation based on this position. The entire team gets eliminated with RB in from behind with the flank and third party, and that would get the entire team of God, the winner chicken dinner game #1, eliminated from the scene. And I don't know what happened over there, but I did not like that gameplay coming out from Stykes. You know, he just went in full guns blazing, 4v1. His position was terrible. He had the lower advantage to UAE. UAE is looking strong.
Man, you know one thing that they do say about Sandhawk is that Sandhawk will expose you. It will expose you big time. Like you think you're good, yeah? You think you're good. Sandhawk will show you Pepe. You understand?
Eh,
But anyways, before we get into that, we're seeing a fight going down between Horse and O3, and this will be a definitely big boost for O3 as they do take down one player from Horse. Horse is one of those teams that has been, really aggressive, as we did see them in the first game and even in this one. But now that they've taken down one player, would that be enough for them to go on and seal this game through? But we do know that big boys like Horse, whether they have even one player, that one player might still be enough to clutch things out. So they got to still be careful. I do feel like one of the Horse players is in a flank position, so they got to be careful how they rotate and how they get into that zone. But you can see them trying to get into that edge. O3 is edging it out. They're playing it quite good for now, and let's see how that goes. We're on to the boy from Play.
Nation already down. Potato trying to get in on a reverse over there, but unfortunately he's going to get knocked. And it's down to literally one of the individuals to do something about it. RB up in here with the knock play as it stands right now. They get that confirmation out from him. So Potato out and dusted. True gets an elimination onto Treble. And that is not looking good for Horse Esports, as it is down only to Klaus over here. And O3 Brothers, who you want to know more about, is up here with fire, man. 5 kills, and it does look like they're about to get their 6th if they do make a play for the Horse elimination and just getting the last final player out from Horse. But Horse over here in Sanhok not looking too great, overconfident maybe, but we didn't get to see too much coming out from them in this specific map right here. So let's see exactly what happens. He's trying to scout the enemy over here. Ooh, UAE getting pinched on the rotation over there. And Nexus getting in a great line of shot, but he doesn't know of the enemy that's right into the water over there behind over here. So he must be careful on how things work out from here.
Man, just taking a look at the way the boys from O3 are beginning to now come into that reading. I mean, I've spoken about them. I've spoken about their confidence and how they play. I just love what I'm seeing. I'm seeing for now because when you're the underdog and you're taking out teams like Horse, you're pushing, you're getting those aggressions. It does something for your confidence level and it does something to the lobby. It gets teams like Horse, who are usually very aggressive, to start to think of other ways to play. You can see Schnitz on that corner right there, just taking a look at this position where the boys from Horse are at. And Horse is in a very, very dangerous situation. They've got to get into that zone. They've got to work around the boys from O3, and they're just the O3 boys next us are just farming things right now. They're taking on shots to several different players while they're swimming, and this might just be a lot of.
Yeah, but Nexus needs to connect a lot more, and he does so indeed. 777 not looking lucky today as he gets knocked. UAE also just with a tough rotation right now as they are underwater. Nexus trying to connect as much shots as he can possible. He finally picks up on Hor's rotation as well that is being played over here. But so much illuminations. Where's the communication coming out from O3? It's only Nexus that dealing the beams in this position. They could pick up on 1, 2, 3, 4 eliminations in right here, and that would be such good numbers for them as it stands. Just look at UAE rotating in the water right over here. And Nexus needs to pick up on these eliminations. Picks up on Treble on a knock over there. But look, 4 of them lined up over here just for Nexus to get these eliminations. And this is going to be the MVP. I'm calling it right now. He's done so much for the team already. Sitting on 3 as it stands. He might be sitting on 6 at the end of this over here. And there's more 4 kills. Klaus left him alone in the water over there. He's trying to find him out. Can he get the final shot?
Man, I did speak about Nexus, and this will do a lot for his confidence level as he continues to get those kills right there. Because when you're a team that's not performing at this level and you're coming in right now, you're getting those kills. He's gotten himself 9 kills, down to 5th place. It does something to you. It begins to tell you, like, you know what, I can do it. I can take on this Navi. I can take on these boys. I can take on these teams that are the big shots. And you've taken out Hawes. Navi's down to 2 players, right? They know, they'll be telling themselves in their mind right now that, man, I'm killing a lot of guys in this lobby. I know that I can do this. I know I can make that push. I know that we can continue to farm in this lobby. So yeah, this is really definitely great to watch.
Definitely great to watch over here. O3 really controlling Sandhawk right now in this position, and the rotation coming from the other players were just not too great. Navi had not needed to move, if I'm not mistaken, since the beginning of the map, so they've been in a good position for themselves over there. UAE just left with 1 player, but some placement points now are starting to kick in for these guys over here. So like UAE, who were sitting on 0 points before, now have something to work with going into Sandhawk. GD on the other side, they look like a full force to be reckoned with as well. And let's see exactly what happens with the remaining players. You also got CLS, only 2 of them from there, 3 from O3, and then 2 from Navi, 4 from GD, and 1 from UAE. So we got a good number of players alive. Grenade up in the sky. Is it a Kobe? It is a Kobe. Connects for 50. Can he connect another shot? It does look like he can over here. He throws in a grenade. He gets the knock. Beautiful Kobe shot coming out from a Schnitz over there. So that's going to be great for him. Throws in another grenade with the unaware location right there. Needs to be passive over here. He's taking a lot of damage. He needs to heal up. The zone's coming in behind him. Will he be able to make the run over here? He's now sitting in the zone, and this is zone gonna catch him up. Will it? Sticking quite a bit for every second. He needs that time to run into the zone. Pierce on the other side, making the rotation. Ooh, there goes the rotation coming in.
They've got to make sure. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The boys from CLS being able to get that revive. Heisey coming in right there and turning things around for this team. The boys from CLS just changing the game around for O3 as they do take down 2 of their players. Can you imagine what a game Navi has had? This was a team that in the beginning of the game, they lost 2 members. It looked like they weren't going to have any part of this game, but somehow the zone just moved all the way to Hatting. They stayed on top of the building. They got a couple of knocks for themselves. And right now, they're down to that final circle. They're still battling it out with GD. But even if they go out right now, they still got enough points to probably even place them on top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, no, definitely. Where the likes like Horse Esports were taken out quite early over there and didn't grab too much points whatsoever on their side. It's things like Navi making their way to the very end. But GD now, with that knock coming in, they want to get this confirmation of kill. They get that one over there. It's down to G Don to be a solo player in this position. It does look like he gets out of it, but they're just shooting at nothing, shooting at each other, actually.
And guess what? Fears trying as much as possible to still keep himself in the game, battling it out. They go out in second place, and the boys from GD are now looking for that last player. There's that one last player from Navi. I'm not sure where exactly he's at, but what an incredible game. For me, it has been an incredible game for Navi. And you can see he dives to the zone, probably not wanting to give them that final kill point, but being able to carry themselves into second spot. Not taking anything away from other guys, not taking anything away from GD, getting that winner chicken dinner, but Navi being able to get themselves into second spot definitely shows the organization and the team knowing, when to be quiet.
Yeah, no, definitely true fire. I mean, if you look at it, right, like we talked about who has the communication, who has the strategy going into the play. Navi looks like it, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Even when they found themselves in, a very tough situation, they still managed to get themselves out of it, and
Mm,
that's what experience does. Experience puts you in those kind of situations. Yeah.
mm, definitely. Well, happy with the winner chicken dinner going over to GD over there. Amazing kills as well.
Well, guys, that was an amazing match, and congratulations to Gold Diggers. They really pulled it out of the bag there. Act Fire, what do you think is the highlight of this match?
The highlight for me was, O3, taking out teams like, Huz, just
Mm,
pushing,
mm,
for me, that does a lot of confidence for teams that are, coming in and experiencing this for the first time. Guys like Nexus, guys like Schnitz, there was a lot of their gameplay that, needs improvement, needs awareness. For example, when when they are taking out one of those players from CLS, I thought, hey, they were gonna go in for that killer and just take out CLS, and they may have been able to go get into that zone with two players, but eventually, you know, um, that was what led to Fierce being the only one left up for his team. So yeah, it's great to see those guys now beginning to gain that momentum and gain that confidence.
Do you think the comms were effective by O3 as well, or is that something that they need to work on? Act
I
Fire.
think the comms were effective. I also think that at that moment where Schnees had taken out one player, and Nexus was already down as well. Probably the IGL should have been saying, "Hey, you've taken out one person. Just take that risk and go. Him and the other player just take that risk and go for that final guy, make that push and take him down." But I think Snitch was like probably just trying to get into the zone, just and that was the only thing that was in mind. And probably that was a mistake, because you have an enemy on the left side, and like he's obviously going to take shots at you.
And one of my favorite moments actually is, I don't know, I watched Game of Thrones, so I have this thing in my head, like, you know, I call it the aquatic waters of doom, or like,
Mm.
maybe like Poseidon's pit, because of how I think it was UAE that got farmed in there. Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
Iro, how do you
yeah,
feel about that situation that happened in those waters?
oh man, like those situations over there are quite tough because you have nowhere else to rotate, and the only rotation is in the water. So, for a player like Nexus to take full advantage of it, you can't really do too much, and it's just again another a small mistake that UAE can easily fix going into the future. It's all about positioning, and when that zone was shrinking, they had to use the water to rotate. No bridges whatsoever available for them. And at that time, Nexus had found out that over there, so they had easily pointed out that rotation.
Well, definitely. I want to see the MVP. I want to see the MVP of this match. I think it might not be too much of a surprise this time around.
Nexus.
Oh wow,
Called it.
Nexus. How
Easy.
No
surprising.
boy.
Nah,
No
you know
boy.
what? He had full control over so many players on that rotation. It was almost as if he and I hate to say it, but stealing candy from a child because it was so easy for him to get these eliminations over there. You know, you had UAE on the rotation of the water. I think it was also Horse Esports on the rotation of the water. So it was just literally picking up eliminations that were given to him because he was there at the right time to control that area, almost like he was a water patrol at that time. So yeah, 6 eliminations. Look at the damage though. 1,430 damage. Could have picked up a lot more, and I feel like yeah, this is well deserved. He did control that area quite well.
Guys, unrelated. I have a question, man. I'm not a PUBG expert, but like, do you see those little birds on their backpacks? What is that? Is that a flash? Is it just like a, I don't know, like a little decoration thing? What is that?
Cosmetics. It's in everything. I mean, it's just something that they would want to wear. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the little birds that follow them, or the pets, or the bag design. Ackfire plays this game almost every day, if I'm not mistaken. What
I
is
mean,
it?
No,
yeah,
this,
I play a lot of games. There are pets. There are a lot of items you can buy. Within the game. A lot of outfits. A lot of stuff. PUBG is a very there's a lot of fashion in PUBG. There's a lot of items you can
Yeah.
purchase, and a lot of gun skins, a lot of outfits. So yeah, it's very rich. Trust me, you'll be surprised. A lot of people
I was just
spend
curious.
money on this game. They spend money. You know.
Yeah, let's have a look at the match standings so far. Oh, do you want to break down the match standings for us, Ira?
Over here we got Gold Diggers with the winner chicken dinner, 15 placement points, 8 eliminations, 23 points. O3 Brothers coming in there with 10 eliminations and 8 placement points, sitting on 18. Navi Africa with 12 placement points, 4 eliminations, and 16 points overall. And then Cyclone Shield Esports with 14 in fourth, Undisputed Africa Esports in fifth with 10. And then going down to 6, 7, and fourth, we have Horse Trained to Frag as well as Revolution Bad. And that's going to wrap up your page number 1. Going over to page number 2, we should see who takes up that spot over there. There we go. So outsiders with 3 eliminations, 1 placement point, sitting on fourth. 10th is Team Unity with 3, and then tied is God Esports, Foul Play, and Citizens, wrapping up your 11th to 13th place. And then you don't get any placement points whatsoever for 14 to 16. So you got CMP, The Nightmare, and Try Hard Esports sitting on 0.
Now, I'm not gonna say I told you so, but that cost us curse, Act Fire. Look at Citizens
Man,
at 13th
man.
place.
Man, I
Uh
don't know. I don't know. I was really looking forward to seeing them doing, quite well within, this map. But, you know, especially for Citizens, they landed in the same spot with Hawes, and it was just, yeah, it was just not the best for them. They were able to get one kill at least, but both of
Nah,
them,
it's the
man.
commentator curse. You can't say anything. You curse
Yeah,
them. It's your
yeah,
fault.
yeah.
Close
I'm
your
not
mouth.
saying
you
Tell them.
did
I'm not
this.
saying anything next time. I'm not falling into that trap. Next time I'll just keep short.
You literally fell into my trap. Nothing against Citizens though. I hope the best for them. Now, let's have a look at the overall ranking here. Woo! Horse Esports. They just won't quit. Regardless of how early they get taken out, they still manage to stay on top. Let's break it down, Nightfire.
All right, so we're still seeing Horse Esports sitting down in that top spot, right? So even though they probably got eliminated quite early on, they grabbed themselves as much placement points and kill points, eliminations right there. You can see they have totally 23 eliminations to still maintain that top spot. as well as Navi. So Navi got themselves, of course, obviously more placement points this time around, and got themselves really just an inch, next to Hawes. Hawes, them. I mean, it's all down to this final map, to then start to figure out, who, will probably get that win. But it's shaping up to be between both of these guys. O3 has gotten themselves on top this time around. They got more kills, he got more placement. They've gotten all the way to that fifth spot. So going to, you can now begin to see that points are now. Before it looked like it was just probably the top six, and everybody else just had like very little points. But now a lot more people are now coming into the story. Cyclone Shields. Nightmare has gone down a little bit. This last match didn't go quite well for them, but we'll see if things change up within this final map. So let's see.
With regards to Navi Esports, they camped. They literally set up in that house, in that little cute little house. They bought furniture, ordered pizza, and everything just look. And then they got 1 point under Horse Esports. Like it really worked out for them.
Yeah, especially because they had an interesting first game where they got a lot of kills, right? And then starting that second game, they probably most likely had to change their plan because first of all, they lost one player to Horse Esports, and they were getting chased by another team, and they lost another player. All of a sudden now they're down to just two guys. So it was really impressive that they even still managed with the circumstances to still get themselves into that second place position. And that's all down to the right strategies, staying in the right spot, staying on top of the buildings, getting that high ground, and trying as much as possible to be aware of their surroundings.
Yeah, and ninth place is Outsider Official with 12 points. Undisputed is African Esports with 10. 11th, Revolution Bad with 9 points. Citizens with 4 points at 12th. 13th is Team Unity with 3 points. 14th is Power Play with 2 points. 15th is Tryhard Esports with 1 point. And Team CP, unfortunately, with 0 points, guys. How do you feel about the standings thus far, Ira?
Could be better. Could be better. We're looking at UAE still hoping for a comeback. We still got Miramar with the final map over there. I'm gonna help out. I'm gonna help you out, TechFi. You know what? Let's see an improvement coming out from outsiders and citizens as well. My casters curses. Good luck
Don't
only.
cost them. Don't cost them. Don't cost them.
Oh my
Nah,
goodness.
I'm all about good luck. So let's push them up there into that first page over there. Let's see exactly what Miramar is all about. But something that you mentioned that I love that you mentioned is that confidence, like for O3, getting those eliminations onto Hose, onto these players over there, that there definitely boost them up. When you look at a perspective like Hose killing a Navi player, it does nothing to them. Instead, it's just like, GG, guys, well done. But for O3, it's fantastic. It's let's go, let's get going. And that's what is really nice when an underdog gets those eliminations. Mm. So yeah, no, let's see exactly what happens and how things actually go forward into the Miramar. But we saw action from Sandhawk. Didn't get to breathe. Loved the action over there. But now it's time to grab the stacks and see what Miramar is all about. The long distance fighting comes into play, and it's more passive. I would say we had what almost 15 players going into the end game of Irango. The same strategy should be played out again in Miramar, where we see a lot more passive plays coming out from these guys over here, and even more players potentially going into those final moments in that position, I would say. So that
True,
end
true,
game is
true,
gonna be a cluster ball.
true,
Yeah.
true, true.
Thank you for the feedback. That was actually very insightful, and I actually want to get even more insights on Miramar. How do you feel about the vehicles? Like, how important will vehicles be on Miramar? Since you have previously mentioned that Miramar is a long range map, Actfire. So, will vehicles be like a really crucial thing to have? Because I saw a player shoot a bullet into a tire, and I said, "Oh my goodness, what?" So how do you feel about the vehicles on Miramar?
I mean, it's an 8 by 8 map. You understand, and it's so big that without vehicles, you're definitely putting yourself in a precarious situation. So what you want to do is to be able to move in, either edge it out with those vehicles quite early on. But it's so dangerous rotating in Miramar. It's
Mm.
and the thing is, players or teams can become complacent because at first there's a lot of space to work with, right? And then as it begins to shrink, all of a sudden you're rotating and you're just like having a joyful ride, feeling the breeze and all that stuff, and all of a sudden, boom, you're blown up. you know, so it's like things can switch up at any particular second in Miramar. So yeah, you just got to prepare for that and move into the zone quite early.
I also think I might have. I actually might have a curse, honestly, because I did root for God Esports, and then they decided, for whatever reason, to be aggressive. And that one member of the team, I forget who it was, pushed an
Aside.
entire team on his own. And I
Mm.
Mm.
said, guys, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to curse
S-
you. I'm sorry. I
Say
didn't mean it
hello
at
to
all.
my little friend.
Yeah,
How do you
you
feel like they
familiar
should
with that friend?
approach? How do you feel they should approach the next map, considering now that they've sort of hopefully they've learned their lesson with the aggression arrow?
I can't say too much about it because I mean, when you look at that decision, it was more from a solo player. The IGL should have given the communication much more better. So I don't really know who the IGL is in the team. If it is him, then definitely he shouldn't be playing the role of fragging like that. But yeah, definitely the IGL should have given a clear communication for him not to engage in combat and for them to evaporate from that area.
Yeah. So finally, the final map, Miramar. Do you think that the nerves are actually getting to some of these teams, considering how that they played in Sandhawk? How they played was a little bit iffy. How do you feel about their nerves, Agfire?
I definitely think that Miramar does give you an opportunity to come back because there's a less likely situation, especially like within the for the first maybe 10 minutes to get into a fight. Sorry, to get third party while you're in a fight. So for me, yeah, a lot of these teams have the opportunity to show their talent in Miramar. Unlike Sandhawk, where it's just like third party everywhere, shots is coming on from different corners. Yeah.
Okay, thank you guys. But the last game is now on. So I will leave you with the casters one last time and good luck. Have fun to all of the players.
All right. We back again for some more action. We've begun to at least understand the teams now, Aero. Like
Mm.
we know like what they're capable of. But again, somehow, Horse Esports and Citizens are together again, and they have taken out one player. Remember, these two, the boys from Citizens got taken out by Horse Esports in the last game,
Mm.
and
Mm.
I mean, it was a tough situation for Citizens to be in. So I don't know. Can they somehow salvage this one? I mean, it's all down to moments like this, or maybe they're just
Mm.
gonna decide. You know what? We're just gonna pull away from this one. I do believe it's just 007. I'm seeing right there with the boys from Ohaze Esports. So maybe they might just be deciding, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna pull away from this, especially because it's 11 who's been taken down. Right? 11 is probably one of the best players. He actually is the one that's their fragger.
Mm.
Being the one who has been taken down, 007 is probably now thinking to himself, hey, you know what? I'm just going to pull away. I'm just going to get out of this one. And that's
Yeah.
most likely the message from his IGO.
You know the thing about these situations here, especially of Spawn, is that when you die so early, it just becomes so difficult to make it all the way to the very end. Whereas with last map in Sandhawk, we saw who's this Navi, but the thing with them is that luck played a crucial role in their rotations, etc. Because they didn't really have to move too much whatsoever. But for where citizens are landing at the edge of the map and already are on the white line of the safe zone, it just means that, the next sort of rotations to come into play, it's not going to be easy. And when teams of four or of three see citizens rotate and they know there's only two of them, the confidence builds up for the IGL to give that clear communication that, hey guys, let's push this team. I think we can win it. So citizens are in a bit of a pickle. I mean, they can maybe try salvage what they have here of spawn, but even going further into the end game, it's just not really going to work out for them. I can guarantee you that over there. I mean, I can even put uh, uh, the, my own nickel onto it. But let's see exactly how things play out for them. There's still three players here in this position. Let's see how they can stay alive right here and just focus on those rotations. I thought it was two, but it's three. So let's just scratch everything I said.
All right, all right, all right, all right. I mean, the boys for Cities is obviously they're one of those teams that I was looking forward to. But Aussie Sports, like the way they push is so interesting because they're very compact. They love to stay close to each other. They love to cover their spots. They love to like when you see them move. No Messi, he's always with Klaus or King Yash, and they're always sort of like staying close to each other. Like remember, this is a team that was really close to getting into the Zanzi, and I feel like if there's anyone who is obviously going to get there, it's going to be them. You know,
Mm,
because
mm.
they have. There's this thing about them that's very organized, and I feel like they won't just get into the Mzansi. They will be a team that will go into the Mzansi and perform in the Mzansi because we've actually seen that happen, in the past where teams like Yonkos, teams like Infinity, teams like Magicians, have gotten into not just gone into the Mzansi, but gone in and actually won the Mzansi. So I feel like they have that sort of vibe for me. They have that vibe, like they're one of those
Yeah,
teams to definitely look out for.
yeah,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I mean, it's also the story builds up, where like you've said, all three games now, Horse Esports, one of the teams to get closest to qualifying into the Mzansi. I mean, now they have to live up to that name, like they failed, and now they have to definitely go in the season. So if failing again could only mean bad news for them, like mentally wise. If they come back for a season six and they don't go into Mzansi, I don't see a return. I don't know. If that's just me though, like if I'm continuously failing at doing something and there's a lot of expectations of me, failing again is just gonna be so hard. So I see how they can get into the Mzansi this time around.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've seen them in previous seasons. They've always been that really aggressive team. But they've never seemed like probably the best team in the lobby. If you know what I
Mm.
mean, like they've always been teams, like even UAE, that have been there. They've always been, teams like Yonkos, teams like Magicians, who have, probably been like a step ahead of them. But
Yeah.
they've always been that really good team. You had teams like Scream Farm, who's now CE Sports, I believe, that have always been like a step ahead of them when it comes to performances. But Horse has always been there. Like they've always been so close. They've always been so close. They've played the elimination and they just didn't get in. So I feel like maybe this season is their time. Maybe
Mm.
now I see them in the lobby and they're looking like the team to beat. For the teams, they're looking like the ones who are aggressive when they meet anyone. They're looking like the team that's really organized to take on their fights.
Yeah, no, definitely. I see exactly what you're saying over there, but I don't know. It's so early in the thing. They are taking full advantage of the nerves and the new blood that is in here in the Inkosi. So I mean, when it comes down to just shaking up the community, they are doing a good job as it stands right now. But long term, how does this work? Week 3, week 4, week 5, can they still be the same aggressive horse esports? Because I mean, you got different days when the Inkosi is not on and live and broadcasting, etc., on the Northern socials. But then that would mean there are scrimmaging happening. There's players. There are, there's O3 looking to better their gameplay. So as it stands right now, people are getting to understand the message. In the qualifying, they managed to win their games. They managed to qualify. But now, when playing among these guys over here, it's understanding, okay, Navi is these guys, Horse Esports is these guys, I need to be better. So now that skill gap that is formed on day one no more exists in week 3, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. I mean, that understanding of the lobby would turn and change things around. But you can see right there the bot just getting that quick scope open and taking out one of the guys from CLS. Now, CLS is a team that does well locally. They do have, a lot of experience when it comes to gunfights, but probably not at this level yet because they're a newly formed team. So be curious to see how they begin to handle the pressure. They're actually a team that I was thinking was probably going to even do better than O3 because on paper they do have some experienced players like Danny Brown, who has, played for a couple of clans within the West African region and performed. So Danny Brown is sort of like man. I mean, they have Danny Brown, they have Manny. I mean, these are players that they have they have a good name, when it comes to performances. They could be playing for business. They could be playing for G3. They could be playing for those big boys. Because skill wise, when it comes to just shooting, they do have those skills. So we'll be curious to see how it actually does work for them as they continue to progress, and in the fights. Yeah.
That's exactly what happens over there. But yeah, the experience comes a long way, I have to say. I mean, but there's always gonna be that new player that is just so good, and you can just tell it's the next Yonkers, it's the next G3, etc. And that's what I love. And like you mentioned, Navi look organized, they look great. I want to see them in a couple weeks from now. Where are they? How have they understood the map? How have they understood the competition? Because off the 2 games already played, I'm happy. I'm already satisfied with the gameplay we are getting out from Navi Esports over here, which I believe you said is a new team, if I'm not mistaken.
Who, Navi Esports?
Yeah.
No, Navi Esports. I mean, I've seen them for quite a while.
Okay.
I haven't seen them in the. I'm not sure, but I've seen them even in previous season. I'm not sure if they took a break and probably came back,
Okay.
but I think they're not really a very old team. Maybe sometime this year they were formed. But anyways, let's take a look at the boys from GD and CMP. As you can see, it's just 2 players there from CMP. It's just Death and Pain right now. Imagine having players called Death and Pain. Pain is in pain, and it's just left to Death to fight things out right there. But Freak getting the final laugh and taking them out right here. So the Gold Diggers, coming into the action. We saw a lot from them in, the games that we've been playing so far. They've been getting, kill up and kill up and kill, and trying as much as possible to establish themselves within that game. Great job coming from them, and let's see how they progress in this particular one.
Yeah, no, definitely. We're down here for 6 players remaining. Very early still in the Miramar map right now as it stands, but the eliminations are coming in. That is looking great for these guys over here. And let's see exactly how they can keep up with that consistency. But yeah, GD definitely out here with some consistent gameplay. And they need to continue. I mean, it's all about the consistency, especially in the Inkosi. If you want to make it into the playoffs for the Umzansi, it's about being consistent and about getting into a great area of gameplay. So I really see this team doing well. Let's see them going into the further part of the map right here. But things are starting to restrict, safe zones starting to get smaller and smaller. But yeah, I really feel the car rotations are crucial in Miramar. I think maybe even all teams will have some form of rotation with the vehicle, whether off spawn or end game, because it's just becomes that intense with the rotation wise.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Confidence has a lot to do with how teams are going to play this game. You can see JD with the performances that they've had in the former one are continuing now with their performance. In this game, coming off the back of the previous game that they played, and all these things matter for the teams, and I feel like that's what's holding teams like STZ, teams like Outsiders, even CLS right now, because they've not just found that spark that would just I feel like it's probably psychological, because you get into this game and you're like you're not feeling yourself yet, so they just need that one win, to just
Mm.
turn things around and to just light up that gameplay for them, and that may just show you a different side to them. I hope that they can come in on other days and really show their performances, because yeah, I do feel like we've not seen enough of them yet.
Yep, definitely. We haven't seen a lot of it. And it's all about learning. And the next couple of weeks are going to be fantastic here in the Inkosi. I'm looking forward to it, looking to see how things really start to ravel. But we are seeing a San Martin power grid sort of area available right here for these guys to make some rotations. T2F and the likes are still making the plays going in. A nice grenade coming out from UAE. Wonder getting an elimination onto UAE over there. Sanchez left alone. Itachi Dolo and Takeoff all eliminated in their position. Not really great plays coming out from the Nightmare in Miramar over here in this position. But UAE as well, I don't know. Maybe it's first day nerves or the expectations as well coming into play for them. That's just not really working too well for them, because a couple of their players have already gone down, if I'm not mistaken, here in Miramar, and we've given them the talk, we've given them the comeback for the different games, but they are there, but it's not undisputed there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely not undisputed. I mean, I still think it's the first day. Everyone's trying to feel each other out. Get to sort of like study themselves, right? There's still a lot of confidence issues for a lot of these teams, and UAE especially are one of those teams that have new members within their team. They've not lost any player right here. They've gotten knocked down a couple of times. You can see they're down to 6 kills. They got themselves 6 kills so far. So that confidence might be starting to build, and they can continue to show what they can do. They've come up against the boys from Outsiders, Wanda really doing a lot to sort of like hold his team, while getting a couple of knocks onto those guys from UAE. So it'd be curious to see how that actually works for Outsiders confidence. But on the other hand, the boys from UAE have not had quite a good day, but here they have 6 kills. They've gotten a couple of kills. They are still in the game.
Okay.
I'm not sure why 66JXYY hasn't healed himself up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but he does need to quickly.
Okay, so UAE is just finding himself in some fights and so forth. But now let's just talk about God Esports in this position. Odin trying to get a quick revive over here. This is the way you should react in this position, as it is right now. And Outsiders looking quite pinched up in this position over here. Let's see exactly what happens and how they can actually survive as they down to 3 men. But they are obviously griefing the rotations of UAE. It does look like UAE member goes down, if I'm not mistaken, over there. Kill feed needs to be cautious on how he takes the line of sight over there, and a good call for the smoke grenade to go out over there. But I think needs to be careful on how this happens, and yeah, it just doesn't go into their favor. We just see that there, the grenades come into play, and he was trying to get the revive in that position, but when the smokes are down, you know exactly where to throw those grenades, and it is just going to get that Kobe throw into it, and unfortunately, I think that's the entire Outsiders out and dusted.
Yeah, the boys from Outsiders, they're struggling right now, but hopefully they can qualify again, try and grab themselves some points. I do believe that they've got to go back, study the lobby, do their research and probably come back and have like a lovely day. So the boys from Foul Play right there, you can see them getting into some action versus the boys from Navi. Foul Play is another team that has been there for quite a while. They're not really a new team anymore. I'm not going to categorize them as a new
Mm,
team. Same as
mm,
Navi. I feel like they've been there. They tried to come into the Inkosi last season, and it didn't quite work out for them. They had a tough time the same way they're having a tough time now. They've obviously got to go back and re-strategize as well. Horse Esports right now, you can see them taking on shots onto the boys from T2, and I do feel like if Horse just needs to get maybe 10 points in this game, to increase their spot. I mean, that would be okay. But
yeah.
if they're looking for that number one spot, maybe to take the prize for the week, then
Yeah, yeah,
definitely
exactly.
they need to probably take out Navi.
Yeah, they
If
would have to.
yeah, yeah,
Because, I mean, right now it's a race between those two.
yeah, true, true.
So let's see exactly what happens from them. But with the added aggression, I think right now Navi could potentially be in lead in terms of kills, or they might just be tied on points right now in overall over there. Looking quite comfortable over here. They're getting some nice eliminations. They're gonna get the revive as well. Look at that, 6 kills for O3 right now.
Yeah, the boys from O3 continuing with the aggressive gameplay that they had. Like I said, confidence, within games like this does matter. You can see them taking out, another team right here, and they're continuing with that battle, stance that they've had from the beginning. They're also proving to be one of those very tough teams. They're not cowering for anybody. I expected, the guys from Citizens, the West African teams from there,
Mm,
to be the
mm.
ones who would sort of like show up to the table. But it's actually, a team that I didn't talk about so much. That's actually coming in and doing their best right now. But might we be seeing a fight between two teams that I really want to see, go at each other, Navi and Horse Esports. I
Mm.
really want to see that, because I feel like these are the two guys that have been storming this lobby. If we can see something go down between the two guys, it would be very interesting, especially for a lot of the viewers, because we want to know who's gonna win all out between Horse Esports and Navi.
Yeah, I honestly, my money's on Navi. I feel like their communication's better. I feel like their strategy's better. They know how to talk to one another. From what I'm seeing, they look like the communication's clear for them. I mean, there's the formation that they've built over here as well is quite good, but he's wasting a lot of utilities that could potentially be used towards the later part of endgame right here. And I understand that rotation is becoming slim, and they are a bit in a pickle when it comes down to people surrounding them. I mean, you got God, you got Station, you got Hose on the outside, and there's only one way to rotate, and O3 Brothers is getting involved with a grenade coming out from Schnitz over there, so that's great. And Navi the bot want to take full advantage of this, because why? It is a race for the overall victory on the leaderboard today, and
Whew.
just look at Schnitz. He
Whoa,
is causing a mess over
whoa!
there.
He
Down to two
takes
players for Hose.
Wow, wow, wow. All of a sudden reducing, the numbers in the horse team, taking out two players with that nade and getting the elimination right there. O3 stepping up. They're stepping
Mm.
up from being that team that, is the underdogs, to now coming in and saying, like, you know what? I want to do well. I want to perform. I want to show that we are aggressive. And this is what we're talking about in the last game, right? In the first game, they didn't have this. They didn't have, that amount of confidence. But now they're coming in like, yeah, I took out horse in the last game. I'm gonna take them out again. Like, they're just horse,
Exactly.
and that's what fighting against these guys and eliminating them does for you. Now they're coming in and they're like, yeah, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Navi. I'm good enough to take you on. And yeah, let's battle it out. So now we're gonna be seeing Horse, O3 versus Navi, and we're curious to see how they actually do in this particular fight. But there's a lot of third party to work with, so they got to also watch out for that.
Yeah, with the confirmation from the kill feeds that Hose has been eliminated, I think Navi right are going to be playing it safe for that first prize win today in the 3 games overall. I mean, 0-3. If they had a better game one, I think they would be the overall winners right here, or even get better ending to game two, where we had the predicament of the player in the zone having a knocked player. The communication, like you said over there, probably wasn't too clear on what to do and how to actually make those rotations over there. So yeah, 0-3. Honestly, I see them getting better and better every single game, and that's what is needed out in the Inkosi, because Inkosi is about learning who you're going up against game by game. You can't really strategize week by week because it's physically impossible, especially with the way Inkosi works. Where in Mzansi, it's a league of players playing the same sort of week going out and in, so it gets easier to learn. Okay, at boot camp you'll have G3 or whatever the case may be, but here, game number one, you jump out the bus, out the plane, you have new players, new teams qualified in week two, etc. And whatever the case may be. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. What's
Yes,
interesting right
definitely.
now
It's,
is
it's
G
good.
Don right here is managing to pick up Odin, but he gets the cover in this position. They get the confirmation of their station and God in the line of sight over there, but not really focusing on Navi. But great kill, 5 kills. I think right now we can call them the winner. No?
Uh, I mean, yeah, I mean, with Horse being eliminated early on, they're grabbing more points. Um, I can't remember how many kills Horse got, but
Hmm.
um,
Horse
this
was sitting on 3 eliminations, if I'm not mistaken,
thing.
and it was
Okay,
only a one
okay,
point difference between Horse and Navi. So right now, just
yeah.
on kills itself, they've already passed points wise.
Mm. But guess what? We can't rule out O three as well, because now they're
Mm.
sitting on 11 kills, right? If they can
Oh,
get if they can get themselves, like, let's say, because it's 15 points for first place, right? If they get that winner chicken dinner with about maybe 17 kills or even 20 kills, then we're talking about them coming into the discussion of getting that first spot. So it's not just Navi now. The boys from O3 are actually in contention for getting that first place, depending on their position towards the end of this game. All of a sudden, from being like underdogs within the match, they can actually go on to win it. So Navi has to take out O3 if they want to remove the competition right now. It's
yeah.
O3.
Yeah, it is 0-3 indeed. But let's see exactly what happens here. Station running the rotation over there. He finds himself just getting eliminated by Navi Baba. Great 0-3 in the position right now. And this is it. And this is how Navi will be grabbing the overall win. Already 3 down from 0-3. It's down to left with Nexus. And Nexus, the MVP in match number 2. Can he clutch things up here for him? They've taken their confirmations, and it's all down to a single individual from O3 as it stands right there. And it's also CLS, one player from them. This is an easy win, and I say easy, but Bubba goes down to a nice Kobe throw coming out from Roach. And that is exactly what we want to see, competition to the utmost level right over here. But I think Navi is still in a great position to be comfortable going into the rest of the final moments that we have our hands over here. And a nice throw coming out from the bot. Will he connect anything? No, he wouldn't, because there isn't anyone over there. He's throwing into the ghost lands, as it would be looking.
Man, it's a really lovely gameplay coming in from the voice from Navi right here. You can see them, just battling it out, holding their positions. You can definitely tell that this is a team that has a very good IGL. They grabbed this winner chicken dinner because it's looking really likely that they do. They got a full squad coming up against Nexus. Except we see some incredible gameplay coming in from Nexus right now that somehow helps him win. Well, he doesn't, and Navi grabs it home. But still, it was an incredible game for O3.
Definitely, definitely. And I told you that it wasn't only going to be the one time we won't be seeing the Navi being
Hmm.
MVP. I mean, if you look at the list right now, we've got 6 kills going to G Don, which means he could potentially be the MVP yet again. Not yet again, but yet again for Navi over there. So Navi with the winner chicken dinner over there, second place, 0-3 with 11 eliminations to their name. They have to be the MVP for the teams, or MVT. Is that the thing? And then CLS going in for third place. But I'm impressed with those three. I'm impressed with those three. I'm impressed with Navi. This was a really great, successful launch of the new season.
Yeah, there have been some teams that I was hoping to see a lot more from. I probably even placed some caster costs on two horse because at some point in time I was saying, they're the team to look out for. But at the end of the day, I was proved wrong by Navi as they showed up right here and shown that they're not Navi Africa for nothing. They got themselves the kills, they got themselves the win, they got themselves into to that position. So yeah, it's a good day overall for them. I do think that they will be seated in that number one spot.
They will. And congratulations to Navi for taking the first week's winnings. Congratulations. They played so well. They mentally, brought it back from the first game where I had hope, as well as the second game when they were camping in that house. How do you feel
Hmm.
about their overall performance throughout the three games, Alex?
No, that I say, like I from the get go, I told you their communication and strategy is working, and it shows proof that there's evidence there. They get the winner chicken dinner to close the entire show over there. They've stayed alive every single game, made it into end game where there were some challenges for them and mistakes that they've made. They're not perfect, no team is, but they're all working on it game by game, and really I am seeing an improvement going into this team for the next couple of weeks.
And Actfire, what was the moment that defined the win for Navi this time around?
Um, I think it was that moment. I'm not sure what particular O3 player it was, but he was shooting. He was shooting at one of the Navi players and trying to get a knock when I think G Don just came and took him down, and it was just at that moment where he just went on a rage and just took out one, two, three O3
Mm.
players and just turned things around. But if that didn't happen, if that situation didn't happen, and this may just be to lack of experience. Sometimes I've seen teams do this when you're not aware of where the opponents are. You pop a smoke, to cover an angle, right? You use it to cover your right angle while you want to shoot at someone at your left. And I felt like if that O3 player was doing that, he covered that angle, then maybe Gdom wouldn't have had, that view to take on one, two, three players. He may have gotten one knock, but the smoke would have blocked him from seeing, the other players. But let's see how it plays out for them in other coming days.
Speaking of O3, they came out really strong with 6 kills. They came out really strong. We had hoped that they would, do a bring it back, but they ended up falling short at the end. Ira, how do you feel about their performance? What are your thoughts on that?
So three, I have to give some applause to them. I mean, we started them not with the greatest game number one. Nobody was talking about them even in game number one. So it was game number two when we started to see an increase in kills and a Nexus really doing quite well in that water area over there. But then game three came along and they just kept on improving. So I feel like there was a couple nerves with they started over there. So I feel like going into the weeks, this is a team to be reckoned with if they just keep on working slowly and working over there.
Now let's check out the MVP. Oh, I'm excited to see this one. It has to be someone from Navi, to be honest, because they performed so well.
Without
I
a doubt.
knew it. Let's go. Congratulations on the MVP with a damage of 779. Not the most that we've seen, but you know what? He played his part. He did what he had to do. What are your thoughts on this, Fire?
Gdon was really effective coming in and getting the kills at the right time. Especially towards that end where he took out a couple of players from O3. So yeah, he for me, I feel like he did his part in winning and grabbing those extra 3 points for his team, and he needed to do that against a team that was probably battling first place with them. I pretty much think I'm going to see Navi as number one and probably O3 as number two or three. So obviously they had to take them out, if they were looking to, seal that first spot.
They definitely like have to look out and everything. But I want to go back to Horse for 1 second and give them their props because they held the number one spot for two whole games. Even though they were just 1 point above Navi, they did hold their own. Do you think that their mental sort of like declined in the third map, Iro, considering that they ended up, I think, in sixth place?
Honestly, when it comes down to the situations over there, it's that overconfidence that I mentioned. It's not something that's long term that we can bank on, but we see it going into the game two, game three. Overconfidence, getting the kills just the way you didn't get number one. It's not going to work long term. You have to strategize. You have to communicate.
Definitely. Let's put up the match rankings just to remind ourselves of where they stand. Ooh, so Navi Africa have taken the number one spot. Let's break it down, Actfire.
Man, taking a look at this right now. You see, Navi. This is what I was talking about, right? Navi needed to get those extra 3 points, right? It was all down to these two teams getting those points because it could have very well been, O3 getting an extra, by my calculation, 7 points. Okay, if they had won that final fight, because they would have gotten 4 kills, and Navi on the other end would have had 7 points less. So it would have been it would they O3 would have had 11 points extra on top of Navi coming, on this game and probably, finishing that first spot. I mean, we'll still take a look at the leaderboard overall and still analyze it. But it was great to see their performance. I do hope that that's going to help, their overall, belief in themselves, and they'll come into the other games and feel like, yeah, they can perform. Um, I, I think Citizens Wild Breed, Undisputed AE. I mean, there's a lot more that they need to do to show that they are capable here. I do believe that they're strong. I think that they'll come back again, and show what they're capable of.
Mm.
Okay, going into the second page, we do have a lot. I mean, the surprise for me is really outsiders, like how tough they're having it. Um, try hard, same thing, 0 point, CMP, Unity. Like, I do believe like these guys, the IGLs have got to go back and ask themselves some questions. Gold Diggers had a really tough time. They've at least shown that they can perform. Same thing with Train to Frags. Revolution Bad, I saw a little bit of them, but they all need to go back, watch the clips, figure out where they probably got it wrong, and see how they can improve in the coming weeks.
Let's look at the overall leaderboard.
Mm.
Wow,
Beautiful.
62 points. Oh my goodness, they really came out swinging, Iro. How do you feel about this entire leaderboard? Honestly, 62, there wasn't a chance. They didn't have a chance.
No, there wasn't a chance at all. I mean,
Uh-uh.
Navi and them. When it came down to game one and two, it was Navi and Horse. And when you looked at the overall leaderboard, and I took a little bit of a snippet in game two, wrong snippet. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, it was just Navi and Horse that had the lead, and there was like a 10 point difference between second and third, but if I can remember correctly. So Navi and them, it was a battle between them two, but because Horse kept dying quite early, they didn't really give too much into it going into game number three, especially. It was all three brothers to snatch that second place from Horse, where it could have potentially, if Horse Esport had stayed alive, had gotten more eliminations in game number three, then it would have been Navi, Horse, and O3 brothers. But we can't take away from O3 or even Navi, because strategy and communication will always beat overconfidence. And we see that here, living proof. I mean, never mind, third place is a great achievement. 42 points, amazing. But long run, I'd like to see how that could work out for them.
And with the LeBron nade that Navi had towards Horse, they didn't really stand a chance. That nade really solidified their spot, because if they hadn't taken out those first two players in Horse's team, then they wouldn't be
Mm.
in first place, to be honest.
Definitely, nah. Yeah, it's just those calculated moves that work out for them. And then here we have UAE ninth. I would have loved to see them going on that first page over there, but 17 points, 10 eliminations. They're working quite well to reprimand their mistakes. Revolution bad in 10th place with 13. Outsiders official with 11 points, with 11th place in 12th with 12 points. And then in 12th place, we've got Foul Play with 10 points, Citizens, and then Team Unity, Tryhard, and Team CMP will wrap up the 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th place, respectively. But we can see improvement going into the next.
Definitely. Now,
Yes.
Navi established themselves and performed very well, taking out their biggest competition. But can they maintain it at Fire? Can they bring the same energy to week two?
Uh, from what I see, they do have a lot of competition. One, they have competition from people like O3 who are now building that confidence. By my calculation, if they had finished second, if O3 had killed them,
Hmm.
they would have still won, but with 1 point. They would have probably been on 55, while O3 would have been on 54. And if they got eliminated earlier, then probably O3 would have won. But so you can see how that match could have gone anyways, and O3 could have been on top, right? So that obviously would put a lot of confidence, in the minds of the boys from O3, that what, we can come in next week and we can actually snatch that number one spot over from in the overall leaderboard from them.
Mm.
um Looking at the other guys, like citizens, outsiders, that's another problem for them, right? Apart from horse as well. But guys that are, they're a very good team. They've been in the Umzansi, but they're not having a good time. I'm sure they're gonna go back and they're gonna say, hey, you know what, where are the landing spots we should take? How do we rotate better? How do we come into this game? So I feel like it's only gonna get tougher for Navi. So before teams adjust, they should just keep on racking those points.
They should. They have to, if they want to make it to the end with all that cash that's up for grabs. Now, thank you guys for joining us here at Inkosi Super Cup Season 5. Thank you, Actfire. Thank you, Iro, for being my lovely co hosts. And I will see you guys in week 2. Bye.